As they left for the Churchill Hotel, Brett noticed that he thought he saw what appeared to be a black limousine following their yard car. It did not appear to be one of the yard's cars, but he could not be sure. He said nothing to Michael nor to the yard man driving their car. The car appeared to have 2 men in the front seats. Brett wanted to get a good look to be sure before raising any false fears. But shortly before the Churchill, the car turned off and disappeared. Gina was seated at the piano bar, front row and center. She was dressed in a beautiful low-cut red silk cocktail dress, single strap with the black high-heel shoes, black stockings with a few delicate sequins, and, of course, her Louis Vuitton matching purse. Her short dark hair was drawn to one side. Her ample bust line accentuated the small waist of the dress. She looked stunning, albeit in a veil of sad and distant thoughts. She forced a smile as they approached. Her moistened eyes suggested that may have been thinking of someone or something else. Michael greeted her in a typical French custom, a kiss on each cheek. But Gina, who had worked with Anna in Belgium, gave him a typical Belgian 3 kisses in reply. "Ah, you'll never win that one, Michael," Brett joked. Gina responded with a broad, warm, genuine smile. Her heart was a bit lifted. "He does not have to, Brett. He is handsome enough to carry it off without any continental niceties." "I don't want to win. I just want all the spoils," Michael replied with a broad grin. Gina laughed for the first time in 3 days. The Scottish jazz singer, Sheena McGregor, played and sang the American favorites of Jerome Kern with a beautiful improvisational style, reminiscent of Chris Connors, one of Brett's favorite all-time great American jazz pianist-singers. They avoided the subject of the tragedies over the past several days. This was a time for personal, private grieving. The shock had not run its course for any of them. Michael was the first to say good night. "Got an early one tomorrow," he announced, rising from his leather lounge chair. "You mean it's before 1 a.m.? "You mean it's before 11 a.m., Gina jibed, and they all 3 laughed. Michael started down the entrance door with Gina's arm on his. Brett took her other arm. Brett opened the glass door. The threesome emerged and descended the 5 marble steps to the street level, and Brett looked for the yard car when it all began. Brett heard the sharp report of muffled sounds beginning. He recognized the sounds. It was silenced gunfire. His eyes quickly scanned the periphery and spotted 2 figures who had fired on someone in a flurry of shots from 25 yards away. Brett whirled and in one continuous sweeping motion pushed Gina and Michael down to the wet pavement, and just then a huge shock wave left the vehicle parked 50 feet away on the street. A car bomb had detonated. The sound was deafening. The pieces of metal enveloped the area of the entrance. Flames broke out. Muffled sounds of rapid gunfire started again. This time the target was clear. It was Brett and Michael. "Stay flat down," Brett shouted to Gina and Michael. "And for Christ's sake, stay down." 2 torn and bloody bodies were strewn on the narrow street. They were the MI5 agents, blown from their car. "Jesus," Brett muttered to himself. Quickly, Brett crawled to the badly mauled agent only 5 yards from where the car was. The 3 of them were flattened. Shots continued. Brett took a revolver from the MI5 agent, who had never had a chance to use it, from his shoulder harness, then spinning quickly, rising to one knee and firing in the direction of the 2 figures. Hearing no returning fire, Brett bolted straight upward onto 2 feet, standing erect, and emptied the 10-shot clip. One of the figures dropped to the pavement in a cry of pain. His accomplice pulled him off the cobblestones, and they limped off behind a building and disappeared. Brett was struggling to find another clip for the weapon, but could not. 30 seconds and it was all over. "Jesus, Brett, where the hell did you learn all that from?" Michael croaked through his visibly shaken body as he got up to one knee. Gina was still down on the pavement crying. Just a visceral reaction. Visceral like hell. That was a damn good calculated reaction. Basic training 101, Brett. replied, helping Gina back to her feet while trying to defuse Michael's penetrating questions. Several black helmeted bobbies had arrived. In characteristic British reserve, asked a few quick questions, radioed to their police station, and asked us to go back to the station with them as quickly as possible. The sounds of the fire brigade having arrived were becoming painful. An ever-growing crowd was becoming a hazard, and the bobbies were trying to break it up. "Okay, let's go," Brett replied. "Will you need all three of us?" "No, sir. Just you two gentlemen will do for now. We have a car for the young lady to any place she needs to go." Brett turned to Gina. "See you back at the hotel?" "The Carlton's still your best bet for tonight," he said, answering his own question. "I spoke earlier to the manager, and he is a security guard in my room 24 hours a day. You will be safe. I will call the night manager and advise him you're on your way." Gina did not reply, but nodded affirmatively, and then turned gently away, shaken and very afraid. "A problem, Gina?" he asked as the bobby stood by to escort her to the yard car. "No," she replied with a long pause. "It's just that you and Anna had..." "Nothing," he interjected. "We were very close, but never grew beyond that. And you need to know that and believe that." He spoke in commanding terms. "I was not sure," she smiled. "Go. It's almost midnight," Brett said, turning to note the crowd that had gathered, while the characteristic irregular honking of the British rescue cars could be heard getting closer. "Damn yard cars, damn agents, damn senseless loss of life," Brett murmured. He phoned the Carlton and told the general manager what to expect. "No problem, Mr. St. John. We will welcome her and provide her with the appropriate protection." A bobby took both Brett and Michael to the London Metropolitan Station House in Knightsbridge. They spent the better part of 2 hours there until released. Ian McGrath had been contacted and was at the station house within 30 minutes. "Jesus, hell, man," he screamed, seeing the two of them in the interrogation room. "This is becoming like the streets of New York or Tel Aviv." It took a half an hour for McGrath to go through his tirade and finally get to sensible and rational questions. But he did, and within another hour, Brett had convinced McGrath that he still had no idea of who or why this was going on. But they were working on just that problem. Michael wondered just what the hell Brett was suggesting as a problem. "Problem? Problem?" McGrath said rhetorically to himself. "It's no problem. It's just that people are getting killed front, left, right, and center." Ian turned to the pair, intensely staring at them directly in the eyes, with a wry smile on his face. "At least you dropped one of them. He died 100 yards away from where you hit him." Brett mumbled to himself. "That one is for Anna."